Hey guys, what's going on? Bring you guys my deck profile for the YCS Toronto that just passed. I did play at the event. I didn't make it to day 2, but I did play day 1. I didn't play any side events. I didn't even go to day 2. I was too tired. Day 1, I went 5 wins, 3 losses, and 0 draw. And the deck that I chose to play was Inzektors, as you can see here. So I did end up playing Inzektors. It's just a deck that I just really like, so that's why I chose to play it. I didn't think that it was going to actually have an abundancy of good matchups, but it actually did, to be quite honest, because a lot of people were not prepared for it. A lot of people were not afraid enough of it, so they didn't side properly. Like, up against Agents, he didn't even have one side card for me, and that was hilarious. So, like, I did have the upper hand for me playing such a deck. But yeah, ultimately, I ended up playing it because I liked it. Round 1, I lost to Constellars, which is not that hard. A lot of people will say, okay, it's a hard matchup, whatever. It really isn't. The only reason why I lost was because we lost, like, game 2. I basically had it. All I needed to do was top deck any Inzektor. It could have even been a Ladybug. But I couldn't make it happen. Like, all I needed to do was summon an Inzektor, equip a Gigamantis from grave, and attack for game. That's all I had to do, and I couldn't make it happen, unfortunately. And then game 3, I lost in time by 200 points. So it's actually not that hard to face, but whatever. Yeah, so round 2, I went up against Agents, and I won. Round 3, I went up against Infernities, and I won. Round 4, I went up against Blackwings. I don't know what happened to me. I'm so used to facing Blackwings. I tested Blackwings, like I tested against Blackwings, and I always demolished them. But for some reason, against this player, I drew so bad. I drew like 5 spells, a Call of the Haunted, next turn another spell, and like I got pooped on. Like, that was just it. I got 2-0'd because I drew horribly. Round 5, I went up against Mermails. I beat it. Round 6, I went up against Dragunities. I 2-0'd Dragunities. Round 7, I was up against Prophecy, which actually was my scariest matchup. But, once again, it was like Constellars. Had I just drawn any Inzektor and equipped a Gigamantis and poked for game, I would have won. But I couldn't get it done. And then round 8, which was the last round of the day, I ended up facing Geargia Karakuris, and I ended up winning. So, yeah, let's just hop right into the deck profile. Oh yeah, so I did also pre-register, so I did get the YCS token. It's like green or something, I don't even know, like, I don't know what to do with it. So yeah, I did play the Triple Centipede, staple, self-explanatory. I played the 1 Hopper. A lot of people play this at like 2 or 3. I don't think you need it at 2 or 3. Like, it's not that great of an Inzektor. Sure, it's another thing that you can equip Hornet to, but ultimately it's not that great. It's kind of subpar. There are times, though, where you actually need to make a direct attack and he helps. There are times where he can be like an insect imitation thing where, say, if you had like Centipede, you pop with that, and then you add whatever, and then you go Insect Imitation, get rid of it, bring out Hopper, equip Hornet, pop again. So there are moments like that, but ultimately, this card isn't that great. But it's still good as a one-of, especially because you can get it with the whole Summoner Monks. I did play the Monk engine with the 1 Armageddon Knight. This combo is just insane. It's just, for those of you who don't know it, it's Summoner Monk, turn to defense, pitch a spell, summon Armageddon Knight, like dump a monster, go for Lavalval Chain, top deck like a Dragonfly or Dark Armed, and just win. Like, it's that insane. A lot of people have played 2 Armageddon Knights. I don't recommend it. It's not that great. After the first one goes through, you don't need a second one. And if you draw really well with the deck as well, you may not even need this card to begin with. So it's not that great. So, like, at 1 is fine enough. 1 Hornet. self-explanatory. 1 Gigamantis, self-explanatory. 1 Dragonfly, self-explanatory. Triple Ladybug, self-explanatory. And actually no, this is my favorite Inzektor of the whole deck. If they just gave 1 more Dragonfly to us and got rid of Hornet, maybe just kept Dragonfly at 3 or 2 and took away Hornet, I'd be fine with that, because then I can just go like rank 4, rank 5, XYZ all day. Like, this card is just amazing. This card is the reason why I ended up OTKing so much people. It's that great. And then I played the 1 Dark Armed, and then I played the 1 Karakuri. I think this is a really good first turn play, though it really sucks drawing it late game, so that's why I don't like playing more than 1 of it. And also, games 2 and 3, I went directly for this to side out. It never stayed in games 2 or 3, so I didn't care about it. It was just one of those cards where I was just like, okay, if I draw it first turn, it's amazing. If I don't, then whatever. It's just something I just side out anyways. It was kind of like a lazy man siding. You know, like when you're looking through your deck and you automatically see something that sucks. It's this. All right, so that's all the monsters. For spells, we're at triple MST, self-explanatory. Double Insect Imitation, amazing card, makes Ladybug hands so much more live, just helps out a lot, but 3 is honestly too much, 1 is not enough. I think 2 is just the best number, and it worked out very well. 1 Foolish Burial, self-explanatory. 1 Dark Hole, I hope it's self-explanatory. Triple Duality, a lot of people would only play this card at 2. I played it at 3. I loved it at 3. Even when Hornet was at 3 and Dragonfly was at 3, I was playing triple this. And a lot of people were only playing 2. And when this card went to 2, a lot of people were just like, oh, okay, it doesn't bother me. I was only playing 2 anyways. But it bothered me because I love this card. It just increases the consistency substantially. It's just that great of a card. Double Excalibur, self-explanatory. 1 Forbidden Lance. Forbidden Lance was kind of iffy. I didn't play it at 2 or 3 simply because it's so dependent on you having a monster. But other than that, like, it did work well as a 1-of, but I probably wouldn't bump it up more than that. I think I liked it at 1. 1 Allure. A lot of people will hate me for this, because a lot of people don't like it because they're just like, okay, when I play it, I'm gonna have to banish an Inzektor, and I don't want to do that. But that's not always the case. Like, sometimes I ended up banishing Monk, a Monk that I wasn't ever gonna use, an Armageddon Knight I wasn't ever gonna use, a Dark Armed I wasn't ever gonna use. And sometimes you may have like extra Ladybugs you don't need. Well, there you go. There's your Allure. So it's just like, it just helps consistency. Obviously, if you have monsters you really need in your hand, obviously you're not going to use it because you may put them at risk, but it does help. I played 1 Book of Moon. This card was actually, this card's actually my friend's, actually, and he told me to play, why don't you try Book of Moon? And I was just like, okay, sure. And it actually really worked. Like 3 of my games were won because of Book of Moon. They didn't expect it. It was a play disruptor, and it was just amazing. And then my own tech choice was 1 Dimensional Fissure in the main. It worked amazing up against Mermails. Honestly, I only put this up to slow the decks that hurt me a lot, which is Dark World and Mermails, because they have potential to outspeed me very quickly. And I just wanted to stop that ASAP. Also, it worked up against Dragunities, so this card was actually pretty decent. Also, it stops hand traps. Say if you need your Inzektors to go through and you fear a Veiler, you just activate this, then go off. So it worked. I probably wouldn't play it again, but I did main 1 D-Fissure. So that's all the spells. As for the traps, I played triple Threatening Roar. Amazing card, especially when you're in time. When you're in time and it's just like, you're ahead of life points, when they're trying to make that final push, you just go T-Roar. Stop. But ultimately, T-Roar was really good. It's just like, It allows you to activate it, and then whatever your opponent did their previous turn, you're able to assess it better and make a counter push accordingly. So the triple T-Roar was amazing. I played double Call the Haunted. Only 2, not 3, because 3 just seems so cloggy. 1 just honestly isn't enough. And honestly, this was actually one of the cards I ended up siding out anyways. So 2 was fine. 1 Torrential. Self-explanatory. I played double Fiendish Chain only because I needed an upper hand up against things game 1, and I didn't want to main hand traps, so I ended up just playing the double Fiendish Chain, and it worked very well. And then I played the 1 Warning. So that's the whole deck. It's a 40 card deck. Onto the extra. 1 Shark Fortress. This card was amazing. OTK'd so much with it. Just insane. 1 Gaia Dragon. I never made it once, but, you know, the potential is there. 1 Volcasaurus. I made it only twice, and every time... actually, I brought it out once, and I hit a Priestess, and I got game 2 because of that. Game 3, when I brought this out to try to game them, I couldn't, like, it got bottomless, and I got pooped on. Crimson Shadow Armor Ninja. I played 1. In testing, I brought him out once up against dragons, but I didn't face any, so I never went for him. He didn't seem ideal enough. Exostag, I only brought him out in testing. When it came down to the event, I never went for him once. Adrius, I hate this card. I'm never gonna put this in the extra deck again. It's terrible. I never brought it out once. Zenmayo with a bunch of back row out there. Like, you really want stuff to go through, so Zenmayo helps. Just a field clear, but he's really hard to pull off. I mean, like, not summoning wise, but effect wise, he's hard to pull off. 1 Tyrus, I brought him out like twice. Lavalval Chain, I brought him out all day, so good. Master Key Beetle, so good. I brought him out once. I protected a Decree, and I won. Zenmains, I only brought him out once. Acid Golem, never brought him out once. Giga Brilliant, never brought him out once. Leviair, never brought him out once. Leviathan, brought him out once because he helped the OTK. So there you guys go, that's the deck. In terms of the side deck, it's pretty sloppy, to be honest, but I did end up putting double Veilers in and 1 Maxi. Those are the ones that I mostly put in when I was siding. And double Royal Decree, and double Imperial Iron Wall. Everything else was kind of iffy, so I kind of really don't want to show it, but it's alright. So, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the deck itself before I put it in my binder, because, like, I want to get rid of all this stuff. Everything that you just saw today in this video, I'm trying to get rid of everything. So, yeah, especially this YCS token that I don't know what I'm going to do with. So there you guys go, Inzektors. Later, guys.